So thank you for the introduction. Few words about me for people who don't know about what I'm doing. As Luca told you, I'm in charge of the international market for a company specializing in omni-channel contact center solution. And I'm also a writer. I wrote a couple of books. One on open source telephony, it was 2007. The other one is about artificial intelligence and machine learning, more recently written in 2020. I'm actually working in the voice over IP market since more than 20 years. So I have some gray hair now, and I'm getting a little bit old now, but it's a very interesting market. And finally, I'm also helping some startups, especially now in the artificial intelligence market, to grow. This is the solution that we provide worldwide. It's called XColli. You can find more information on the web. It's an omni-channel based solution, and providing omni-channel capabilities have recently also a lot of automation by using AI. I'd like today to give you some case study about what we have done by using machine learning in the contact center space, and this is valid independent from the voice engine that you use. I prefer to use open source engine like FreeSwitch, of course, like Camellia and other stuff, but that's really quite independent, providing that you are able to call some standard API. So I will give you some case study example. I will talk a little bit about the technology behind that, and at the end of the day, I also want to give you an overview about the main challenges that we faced during the deployments. So about customer care, we see today a couple of trends, very much important. The first one is especially with the COVID pandemic, the last 2 years, an increasing demand of omni-channel capabilities. So voice is still the main channel that we see used in the market, but of course, people want to communicate with customer service by using other channels, especially chat, social media, even video. Even video is increasing. A few years ago, nobody actually used, or almost nobody used video in call center environments. Now we see quite an increasing demand for that, especially, for example, all the onboarding procedure for banks account, insurance, all the of the market about on-field engineering and so on and so forth. The other trends that we are experiencing nowadays is about artificial intelligence. So what we mean and what kind of applications we can think about. There are many. I just like to mention 3 we are working on. There are others, of course. The first one is conversational AI, so the possibility to provide automated interactions between the customer care and the customer. The second one is sentiment analysis, or more generally speaking, I like to speak about conversational analysis, okay? So the possibility to enter in the conversation, to analyze the content of the conversation and get some insight about that. One can be the sentiment, the customer mood. Another one can be, I want to understand what the customer is telling, the topics that they are talking about, in order to take some actions. And the third application I'd like to mention is this one not on the customer side, but more on the call center agent representative. It's solutions called customer service agent recommendation. It can be AI used, for example, to integrate your call center environment with a knowledge base, getting the proper information to be prepared and to provide a better customer service to the client. There are many kinds of applications in this area as well. So, one by one, let's start with sentiment analysis. It's a growing market. more than 20% compound annual growth rate. You can find many research on the web about that. Case study we have, this is an example. It's almost old, but it was 2017. This kind of customer worked in the e-commerce in Asia. It's a fashion e-commerce company. And they managed a few thousands of voice calls per day, email, customer care operations, and so on and so forth. And as you can see, they ran a survey to understand about the perceived service, and the customer satisfaction index was in the range of 7.2. So we had them to analyze the conversation, in this case, especially the voice recorded calls and the content of the email. We got some feedback about the customer sentiment, and based on that, they were able to take some actions. In this case, actions were taken specifically on improving some agent skills, improving the way they managed the order on the e-commerce website, and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, 1 year later, they ran again the satisfaction survey, and you can see that there was a good improvement, okay, from 7.2 to 8.7 actually. So that's just an example, but you can use conversational analytics to do much more. For example, marketing operations and so on and so forth. So conversational AI is the other big application I want to talk about. I'm sure that many of you try to use chatbot. We can talk about voice bot if we are talking about automatic voice interactions. I like to talk about Omnibot, so the possibility actually to use automatic conversation between the machine and the customer across all the channels. So what are we talking about exactly? I'd like to show you a quick video. It lasts, I think, 3 minutes. It's an example in the e-commerce vertical industry, a concept about what we can do. And then I'll be right back to you with a few considerations.
Thanks for calling Fashion B1, the new styling e-commerce generation. I'm your personal assistant machine. From the phone number you are using to reach us, I found a match with Mrs. Jane Doyle. Am I correct? How can I help you?
Yes, this is Jane. I'm calling because I received my shoes from you. However, the size appears to be small.
Okay, let me check, Mrs. Doyle. I've got your last order here in front of me. You ordered a pair of 6. We have both 6.5 and 7 size in stock. Which one would you prefer us to ship you?
Well, 6.5 should fit with me. Sorry for the noise, I'm currently out of the metro station.
No problem, I've got you. You'll receive the new shoes tomorrow. Size 6.5. The courier will be collecting the package with the shoes you want to return at the same time. Is it fine?
That's perfect, thank you.
Great. I've noticed you have also performed another order recently. It's about a men's suit, blue navy colored.
Yes, that's for my husband's birthday.
Okay, it seems this order will be dispatched a bit late. The expected delivery is in 3 days from now.
Oh, my bad. We will be on holidays in Paris in 3 days from now.
How long are you staying there in Paris, Mrs. Doyle?
1 week?
Well, I can reroute the courier and have them to deliver the suit in Paris if you want. Do you have an address we can use for that?
That would be nice, because I'd like to deliver this present to my husband next week. We are staying at the Lumiere Hotel in Paris.
Okay, let me check. I've got the Lumiere Hotel address, and I've rerouted the delivery there. It's 110 Rue d'Ambremont, 70,018, Paris. You'll receive the package there within the next 4 days. Okay with you?
That's great.
So, it's confirmed. I can send you the tracking number. Would a WhatsApp message be okay with you? Or do you prefer an email?
WhatsApp is just fine, thank you.
No problem, Mrs. Doyle. I will also WhatsApp you a discount coupon you are free to use in the next 6 months to get 30% on all our sportwear. Is there anything else I can do for you, Mrs. Doyle?
No, I think that's all. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a nice day, Mrs. Doyle.
You too. I cannot believe that was a machine.
So that was an example on a specific industry. It was a little bit more than pure natural language speech recognition, of course. So a lot of parameterization, a lot of training to get something like that. About this kind of market, it's also conversational AI, it's a growing market, more than 20% compound annual growth rate. It benefits also from the fact that many kind of customers and inside them many kind of departments, they want to accomplish more and more automations. Is that for every kind of application? So the answer is probably yes or not. There are some kind of applications, use cases that can benefit more. For example, all the applications requiring repetitive tasks in the customer service. So order management, first level ticket resolution, booking information, all the kind of repetitive tasks that normally are performed during the customer care service can use conversational AI now very well. With also the benefit that you can use that 24 hours per day very easily, and you can scale up very easily. Of course, if you think about, I don't know, Black Friday, I need to double to make 3 times the number of human agents. I don't need that here, of course. I can scale up with infinite resources. I have a case study here in the transportation industry. This is a big bus transportation customer we have. What they would like to achieve was an increasing number of automations, better customer experience, like everyone, omni-channel capabilities, and at the end of the day, also saving some money in the operational cost. And this is the plan. We started in 2020. In the first year, we deployed the messaging automation, so mainly the WhatsApp chatbot. And after a while, in the second stage, during the second year, we deployed the voice bot, so the conversational AI bot. And so we started with them. All the call and WhatsApp conversation were managed by human agents. Right now, most part of those interactions are managed by the machine, and another part still from humans. So we are now in a hybrid situation. In the bottom line, you can find also the service cost and the trend, okay, which is pretty significant here. Let's now move to the technologies that we used. I don't know how familiar you are with machine learning models. So when we are talking about natural language processing and conversational AI, we used deep learning recurrent neural network. So recurrent because they have memory of the past, the recurrent neural network, okay? And if you think about if I want to understand, for example, in a text, in a conversation, I want to understand the meaning of a word, of course, I can have a better accuracy if I already understood the past. So if I get a model with a neural network capable to understand and to memorize, to have some memorization capabilities, it's better. So this is the reason recurrent neural network or long short-term memory have been used a lot in this field. Recently, there are new techniques used by major players in the industry. You can find someone here. Those are called transformers. For example, GPT-3 use such kind of technique. They cannot just have a memory of the past. They can also work making a correlation between the current word that I want to understand with some other words, even not in the proximity. In the past, or if I'm thinking about the test, they can make a correlation also with the future. And the main key here is attention is what we need. It's a new paradigm. It can scale up more. It can parallelize more. And at the end of the day, the accuracy is very good. This is what it's coming up from OpenAI, but there are other, you can find some other also open source models, but this one is getting big because they are using something like 100 trillion parameters in this kind of network, in this kind of models, which, by the way, is more or less the number of synapses that we have in the brain, which, by the way, in my opinion, brings also to some philosophical consideration, the technological singularity. So a point where the machines will be able to overcome the way we think. I don't have an answer for this. I just want you to think about that. So that was a little bit about the technology. We can talk later if you have time about that. There are a lot of things that we can talk about. At the end of my presentation today, I want also to give you some advice, some humble opinions based on the experience we had, where we faced the most part of challenges. First one is about data. When you want to deploy a new machine learning model, or you want maybe just to customize and to make the training and to make your machine learning algorithm, maybe the Amazon one, the Google one, or whatever you have, and you want to customize that and increase the level of accuracy, for example, for a customer that you have, a specific customer in a specific industry, you need to do a lot of tuning. So data is one of the most important information that you need. Data is the new oil. You have heard about that. It's true, because the higher quality data you have, the better performance you will be able to have with your complex machine learning model. So first of all, you need to work on data. You need to have high quality data. And this is getting more and more complex, also because of privacy. You cannot get so much amount of data in some cases. There are not just industry, but inside a specific company, it's becoming even difficult to share data between different departments, not to mention with a consultant company external that would like to use those data to build some machine learning model and to make the training of that. There is a potential solution for that, which is use of synthetic data. There are startups and new companies coming up about this. And there are also predictions made by some eminent research company. So here, the point is to use machine learning to generate fake data, or let me say synthetic data. So you just need, in this case, a very small amount of data, and all the other data will be generated synthetically, and you will be able to have a lot of data to make the proper training to your machine learning model. For example, this company predicts that by 2030, the majority of data used to make the training, to perform the training to AI models will be synthetic, not real data. The second challenge I want to mention about, especially when we talk about conversational AI voice bot, is that in the human conversation, we use just a small part of what's called the verbal communication. I'm Italian, I like to use gesture, we use facial expressions, so a lot of communication is about not verbal, and this is something not easy to be simulated and to be understood by the machines. So this is for sure still a challenge for any kind of machines. And finally, the last challenges that you can face is probably the most important nowadays is to find the proper people with proper skills to work on these kind of topics. If you think about the customer care space, we have some experience there. The kind of skills that we need is changing very fast. So we need data scientists, we need a data engineer, we need people able to understand between the lines, inside the patterns, trying to understand before coding, they need to do a good analysis, trying to understand what kind of models is better to use. They even need to understand if machine learning is the proper way to move forward or there are other ways to do that. So skills is one of the most important part and the big challenge that we have. So that brings me to the end of the presentation. I tried to give you some snapshot about what we are doing now with machine learning and AI applications, specifically in the customer care space. Some case study, a little bit of technologies, and also some challenges that we are facing. I'd like to thank you very much, and if you have any question, please don't be shy. I'll be here around. I can try to answer anything right now. Thank you very much.